now. And the modality, we ask you to please stay with your microphone off. If you have questions, please type them into the chat, and the panelists will answer those at the end of the presentation. We will begin with a brief introduction, then we will ask 3 questions to the panelists, and we will go to answer questions that the general participants have. So thank you very much for joining us, and just gave us a couple of minutes to begin. We'll start at maybe 5:05 to let people coming in. I hope that no one had issues logging in, finding the link and the password. We did this way to protect the webinar from, people coming in and trying to bomb the meeting, which has happened before. So I see a lot of our students, and I appreciate that you have taken the time to come in here today. I recognize many names. Some of them are in my classes. I appreciate it. Very good. Very good. So 1 more minute and we will start. Okay, I think it's 5:05, so this is a good time to start. Let me begin by reiterating the rules. The participants will remain muted until they are given the time to talk at the end of the presentations. We'll have time to ask questions from the chat, so you could at that time ask. We will make 3 initial questions to the panelists. Each panelist will have about 3 minutes to answer, and then we'll move forward 1 question at a time. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available to everyone through social media. So please look at your emails afterwards. We will communicate that way. Let me begin by introducing our guests. We have Vanessa Urquiaga from Moss. We have Liz Satan from Robinson Morton, and Jose Cortez from Skanska. So I'm gonna stop here and allow each one of them to say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Vanessa, thank you very much for coming. Liz?
She's muted.
Liz may be muted, yes.
I couldn't get on mute. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you very much. All right, so those are our panelists for today, and I think we're ready to begin. Before we start with the questions, I would like to ask the participants for questions. So there are only 2 questions that we want to ask. So to get an idea of from the people who are participating today, did you know that you can get 3 credit units towards graduation by taking the internship in construction class? And that's the first question. Then if you click next, you will have the second one, which is, what is your current work status? Are you working in construction? How many years of experience do you have? Are you not working, or are you working in another field? So I'm gonna give you, probably about a minute to capture your answers, and that way the panelists will have a better idea of the type of participants that we have in today. So thank you very much for answering. So I'm going to go ahead and share the results. this is what we got. There were 64 people who did know that they could take advantage of the internship, and a few that didn't. So now you know. And it seems that there is a good number of students who or participants who are not working. So, well, we'll see if today brings some ideas about the internship in different companies. So I'm going to start by asking the first question to our panelists. How does the COVID-19 affects the internship program in your company? Maybe Vanessa can take this question first.
Sure. So we've really been monitoring closely what the federal government has been advising us, the CDC guidelines. And secondly, we also asked the universities for recommendations. And I would say last and most importantly, we took into account the safety of our community and our team members currently right now, especially since one of MOS's core values is really to care about the well-being of our community and business partners. You know, and after carefully evaluating all the information and several discussions with our executive team, we decided that the best approach for us would probably be to reduce the number of interns we brought in for the summer. So this summer, we're approximately only going to bring in about 20 interns, and they are going to work in our solar department. And our solar department is focusing right now on solar panel, self-performing solar panels that we are constructing in different areas around mid-Florida. And they're typically in remote areas, so we feel like that's also safer there. They're smaller towns and more social distancing than in a crowded city life environment. So one more thing to add on, many of the universities asked us if we could have the students work remotely over the summer. And we considered it, but unfortunately, we really felt that the students needed to be hands-on on the job site. So really working remotely was not, I don't feel like it's so feasible in the construction industry, unfortunately. So that's kind of how it affected MOS. We reduced the number of interns that we brought on, and we felt like that was the safest approach.
Thank you, Vanessa. Lisa, would you like to take next?
Absolutely. So here at Robbins & Morton, most of our clients are proceeding with their work. We're seeing some clients put a pause or postpone some projects that were active. But one thing about the healthcare sector is that we saw some of our current healthcare jobs kind of pick up speed and accelerate their schedules even. So I'm sure you guys probably heard about the Miami Beach Convention Center. And so Robbins & Morton and the pop-up hospital there that we were fortunate enough to be part of. So projects like that have been super helpful and exciting, but since many of our internships are so hands-on and tied to specific projects, those postponed projects did affect a small number of our overall placements. So because those projects were delayed and it wasn't possible to give those students the hands-on experience that we believe in, we weren't able to move forward with those certain interns. So we did also reduce the number of our internships. And it's not how we saw the semester going, but we're appreciative of everyone's understanding and flexibility as we go through this unexpected shift.
Very good, thank you. Jose, would you like to take the question?
Sure. So I would say that kind of the similar comments by both team members. We have had projects that got put on hold or delayed because of the clients not being able to support the workload. And then we also have a lot of work on the healthcare side. So those jobs continue to move. They're busy, it's still an essential part of the business. So we are doing that work, but within that, I think the considerations for safety of the personnel and the people that are working on the job sites, it's been a little bit complicated in creating all the compliance, the culture that is needed to support the work. So we did the same. We reduced the amount of interns that we were going to consider bringing this year because of the exposure of COVID and the fact that even in our office, there's only a few of us here because we were trying to limit the exposure. So there has been an impact, and it's unfortunate. We did have the same consideration about student internships remotely, and had the same conclusion in terms of, we're still thinking maybe there's some tasks that could be done remotely, but that experience of being able to be on the job and interacting with a mentor or someone who's going to really provide the level of guidance that you need, which is what you want on an internship, is not going to be there. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Thank you very much. That we appreciate that you guys are still trying to maintain internship programs over the summer, even given these difficult times. That's very, very, very nice of you. Thank you. The second question that we have for our panelists is, do you see the internships, or how do you see the internship opportunities coming for the fall and spring semesters after hopefully the COVID is resolved or mitigated a little bit at least? Vanessa, you want to go first?
Yeah, so initially I thought this was a very difficult question because things are changing just day by day. I feel like if we remain at this current state, our internship opportunities will continue to be limited, unfortunately. But I feel like we also have a better understanding at the end of the summer, see how it goes with the limited internships that we bring on, and we'll be able to make a more informed decision then. At the end of the day, we are just trying to balance safety, and we obviously want to bring on interns. We want to be able to develop them, give them that real life work experience that they need. And here at Moss, we're like really entrepreneurial, so we're always thinking outside the box. We have that culture. So one of the items that we were thinking of, which we are going to do this summer, is we are going to offer about 4 remote internship opportunities in the pre-construction department, because that's a little more feasible to do working remotely. And we're going to see how that goes. So hopefully if it goes well and the mentor and the intern is able to learn, then that would be possibly new opportunities to open up in that area.
Excellent, thank you. I'm sure that the participants would love to know how to apply for those. So we will provide some feedback later on.
Okay.
Liz, do you want to go next?
Hi. So as businesses open back up and the economy starts to recover, we believe that our clients will have a clearer picture of the future and will likely become more confident in continuing the projects. So as these things come into focus, we hope to have a clearer picture of our internship opportunities that we can offer. Overall, we expect to see a more normal, predictable approach to the internship assignments for fall and spring of next year.
Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. At FIU, we have internships every semester. So the opportunities are in the spring and the fall, and obviously the most popular is the summer. Jose, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I think that I would say that there's a combination of factors. Number one is how the COVID situation continues to be. And secondly, I would say that most clients are trying to re-evaluate how their buildings and their facilities are going to look post-COVID. Yeah, whether it's hospitals in the way they get prepared, whether it's office buildings and how they're going to be built, and universities. You look at how many classes have to taken offline. And so I think there's going to be a lot of clients who are going to look at the market and say, okay, do we want to make this investment now? And are we responding to what the market or this COVID situation is putting in front of us? Either way, it's just all going to be about how do we reinvent ourselves. And that includes the students who are going to be looking for work, us as companies, and I think during this time where we're all trying to figure out what's going to happen next, there will be opportunities. It's up to all of us to figure out, again, how do we reinvent ourselves? How do we align the internships to a way that helps students? How do students find creative ideas to support employers who are going to be looking for you? I think that if all of us put the creativity together to help our clients, yourselves, and all of the companies that are here on this call today, we'll figure out ways to get better and to have opportunities for everybody. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jose. Very, very, very good. Thank you. So we'll go to the third question. And the third question is about the suggestions that you may have for the students or the participants in this conversation in how to be better prepared for the future work environment. Vanessa, do you want to take that one first?
Sure, no problem. So I definitely think it's like, monitoring the COVID situation, seeing how this, all pans out. But like they keep saying, I think it's adapting to this new normal because, the world has changed and so has our work environment. Right now at Moss, we're still working remotely, and at the job sites, they're staggering staff. So people come in certain days at certain times to try to limit the number of people on the job site. We have implemented really strict social distancing and safety guidelines. One of them is like temperature checks when you walk into the job site. Everyone is required to wear a face mask. We also have very, very strict social distancing. Like one example is the buck hoist that people used to just pack themselves in there is now limited to only about 6 people. Lunch hour, which was a time to congregate, is no longer allowed. We make sure that everyone is social distancing. Our job sites have COVID safety coordinators. They're there to monitor, make sure all the safety guidelines are being followed, and also checking if any of the team members have ill symptoms. So all of this is really important for us to stay fully functioning. Construction is essential, but we still have a lot of responsibility with safety and to follow these guidelines. So I think I would just, my biggest point would be to adapt these new normals, keep practicing your social distancing at home, and this will really prepare you for the work environment that we're currently working in. That's how I feel like you can best get prepared right now.
Thank you, Vanessa. Liz, do you want to go next?
Yes. So I would say our attributes that we're looking for here at Robinson Morton have remained the same, and those are integrity, hard work, creative problem solving, but adaptability is, like Vanessa mentioned, also very important for us. And having the whatever it takes attitude and being able to adapt in these situations that are ever changing is so important. And I also think we'll see an increased emphasis on leadership skills. I think the rise of this new normal construction will require a new type of leader, and one that can lead through any type of change and who can also stay attuned to the needs and concerns of their team during this time.
Excellent, thank you. Jose, would you like to go next?
Yes, so I completely agree with Liz and Vanessa on their comments. I would say that more on the soft side is being versatile. I think that if there's something that has happened with this is that organizations have had to, reduce and learn on how to work in smaller environments with less resources and more difficulty. So the more you learn about different things, the better. Flexibility is a big deal. We sometimes get used to do one thing, and we stay within that box and have a lot of challenges in getting out of that box. So be flexible, learn how to overcome challenges. This has taught many of us, including me and some of my colleagues in Skanska, how much we sometimes get used to what we do every day, and the fact that we sometimes are going to face challenges, and the way in which we overcome them will have a lot to determining what the team is going to look like and whether or not we're going to overcome the challenge. Be creative in everything you do. Find your differentiation on who you are, build your brand so that when you go and talk to an employer, you can demonstrate to them what you bring to the table. And those are some, and then show that you have a lot of the desire and good intentions to help and participate and be a good team player.
Excellent. Thank you, Jose. That was insightful. And yeah, I do believe also that this is a good time for the participants to learn a new skill, something that they can bring into the construction process that will make a difference and help them to improve. So I do have now, before we continue with the question from the participants, I have a question for all the participants in general. You know, have you had internships before? If so, you know, how was your experience? And in the interest of time, I would ask you to email me, fariaj@fiu.edu, so I can get a better grasp of how this experience in internships has affected you personally. And now I think we can then take questions from the audience. We will start by reading them from the chat, and either one of the participants can then go ahead and answer. So I will ask then one of the co-hosts, Carla, would you like to present the first question, please?
Hi, yes. Give me just a minute as the questions come in. So we have our first question. Are there minimum certifications that students should be looking out for? Are there minimum certifications that employers really are looking for in students?
Any one of the panelists would like to start? We will begin with Vanessa.
I'm sure. I wouldn't say that we particularly look for certifications over other stuff. I would say, you know, we focus on your education, your bachelor's background in construction management, and what really sets you apart is kind of what Lisa was saying previously, you know, your personality, your attitude, that really go-getting kind of way, and to be flexible and to really want to learn. So I think your characteristics, your personality characteristics is really sets you more apart than a certification, in my opinion.
Thank you. Any other participant would like to say something?
So we have our next question is from a student who is saying, I'm graduating next year. What can I do right now that will put me in the best position to get hired from your company?
I'll take that one so that we give a break to Vanessa, who always starts. So thank you, Vanessa, for breaking the ice. So I would say that, you know, the biggest thing you need to do is, you know, I've always said that, you know, we sometimes we try to find. I said you set up your dream and then you find that job instead of finding a job to fulfill your dream. Yeah, you say what is it that you want to do in your career? How do you see yourself? What kind of work would you like to do? Do you want to be in school construction, healthcare construction? Do you want to be in aviation? Do you want to work for a program manager? Do you want to work? I think that sometimes knowing exactly, or at least having a good idea, the markets are not always as open for us to choose. But I do think that construction is still, even though we're going through this, is still a pretty active market. There are shortages and we have opportunities. So figure out what you want to do. And once you define that, then figure out which companies and what kind of culture are you trying to fit in. and look for those companies that will fit into the culture that you think you'll have, whether it's about how they deal with the community, about green, about sustainability, about the community, or how they give back, all of those things. And then start reaching out early, learn about that company or those companies, reach out early, be present, participate on events, see where they go to, how do you say, when they have a booth at a conference, go there, meet them, meet people, and try to start creating connections. The more, it's all about networking, figuring out who works there, talk to them, ask them if they can help. The better you can position yourself with introductions and recommendations, the better. You know, it's a lot easier to hire and put someone on your payroll if you know they're coming well recommended by someone, yeah? So I guess those are some thoughts. I could talk forever, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
All right, we have another question, and this one is actually directed to Vanessa, and asking about the pre-construction internships. Particularly, the question is, are the duties mainly focused around estimation for the pre-construction internship?
Yes, that's correct. And we used to call it the estimating department, but yes, we now call it the pre-construction. It is focusing on the pre-con area, estimating what the costs will be, you know, reviewing the plans. One of the things that the students usually learn is how to read plans when they get there, and they really didn't have that experience until they got there. It is very math focused, so it's not for everyone. It's not so much of a group environment, it's more you working independently on your own. So some people really enjoy it and some people don't. You know, kind of like what Jose was saying, I really agreed with him, because a lot of interns, I call them and I ask them, what career route do you want? Do you want to be in the field? Do you want to be a project management? Do you enjoy estimating? And they really have no idea. They don't know what their passion is. So that's one thing you really should focus on. And maybe that's why the internship opportunities are there for, to try a little bit of each and see what you are wanting to do in the future. But that is definitely something, because the field is totally different than the pre-construction than, you know, the project manager route. But I am sorry, I diverted, but I hope I answered that question. Yes, it is focusing on estimating.
Okay, well, we've got plenty of more questions. One of the following questions is, what if I am unable to successfully gain an internship in the construction industry? Will this affect my chance of getting hired in the construction industry?
Liz is on mute, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay. So as far as if you're not able to gain an actual internship in the industry, I would suggest doing whatever you can to get as close to the industry as possible. So maybe if it's not an actual internship program, but just going to a job site and asking if they need any laborers or hiring any hourly workers on that job. Anything you can do that is somewhat related to any aspect of construction, or possibly, I mean, just putting yourself out there, talking with anyone in the industry, getting, again, as close as you can.
Perfect. You know, and the next question is actually directed to Liz, to you as well. The next question is, if you can talk a little bit about the requirements and the GPA requirements for internships at Robbins and Morton.
Yeah, so we always like our possible intern candidates to be in good academic standing, but we don't have an actual cutoff. So we like to see solid GPAs, but that would not prevent you from gaining an internship or employment with us.
The next question is directed to Jose. I'm sorry. No, the next question is directed for Vanessa. I apologize. And it's actually asking about the positions located for the solar opportunities or the solar positions. The student is asking if you can share a little bit more about those solar positions.
So we are working with FPL and other energy companies that we're building solar panels and solar farms. So it is more of a hands-on self-performing work. There's a lot of mechanical and electrical that goes into that. And what these interns are doing is they're overseeing like the subcontractors' labor groups that they have that are actually building these panels. So the interns are making sure that they are following the plans, that they're following safety guidelines, and making sure that the timelines are going appropriately. And do they want to know the exact locations, or they just wanted to know more about the internship opportunities? Sorry.
Yes, I believe they just wanted to know more about the internship opportunities. Yes.
So right now we have about 5 to 10 active solar job sites ongoing. That is one of our biggest projects that we're working on here at Moss. And before COVID, we really wanted to have about 40 interns come in for the solar department alone. And unfortunately, due to COVID, we only are bringing in about 2 interns on each job site. So that's how we got down to our number to 20. And we are really fully committed right now. We have those 20 interns, and we've had them for about a few months since last year. So unfortunately, we don't have any new opportunities in that area right now, but it's always something that's coming up, and solar is very busy with us, and opportunities are always coming up. So I would suggest to just check our website. I usually post them when I have an opportunity there available.
And one of the following questions is it beneficial to work for companies such as Home Depot and Lowe's to gain construction knowledge?
I'll take it. I would say yes. I think that I think the closer, as Liz was saying, the closer you get to the action and the construction sites, the better. But at the end of the day, I think an employer will look at the willingness of someone. Not everybody has the same luck sometimes to end up in the right places all the time. But at least if you went in, did an internship and didn't sit in your house and didn't do anything during the time you were free, I think it sends a message that you are willing to do whatever. And I would personally look at that. I would say, hey, well, you did it in real estate, or I don't know, you were working for a dentist. I said, well, that's all I could find. And I wanted to work. And I think that to me, that will send a good message that there is someone who's willing to do stuff. But yeah, if all you can get is go to Home Depot and do it honorably, and make sure that you communicate to people that you're going to be interviewing with, how did you end there and why, and be positive about it.
One of the following questions we're getting is if there are any internship opportunities for international students. So if any of our students are international students, if the internships are also an option for them.
Yes, for Robinson Morton.
Yes, we have had several international students intern with us.
We do. We have some that are working actually in different parts that we have nobody here in South Florida. We have some that are working in other offices right now.
I will say to international students that you should contact the office of ISSS to make sure that you understand what are the rules and regulations with immigration. Registering for the internship class allows you to work. So depending on how many credits you take, that is going to be proportional to the number of hours that you can work on a given week. So please make sure that you do talk to the Office of Immigration at FIU.
And one of the following questions that we are receiving is, are internships paid? And if so, what's the average wage one can expect?
I can start. So ours are paid internships and they start around $17 an hour and then increase from there for how long you stay on board with us.
It's the same. We all our internships are paid, and we are currently starting also at $17 an hour.
For us, all of us are paid, and I don't know the rates, but I'm sure that we're paying everything that is competitive. I just sent a text to someone here. Ours is same, $17 to $20 an hour.
Okay, well, one of the following questions is, how are advances in technology changing the industry?
That's a pretty broad question, but I would say that it's changing everything we do, from the way we're delivering work to the way we're servicing clients to the way we are hiring people. And I guess at the end of the day, the entire idea of technology is increasing productivity and the efficiency of the business so that we can be more profitable. So in any way possible, the closer you can get to the new advances in technology, especially how it impacts the construction industry, whether it's how productivity in construction is changing, equipment. And if you look at most of the, I would say pretty much all of the projects across the companies across the industry are using technology, whether it's in BIM or technology platforms, to be able to communicate information back and forth. So I would say it's changing for the better. And you have to be involved with it and embrace it with everything you can. I think that those that are not embracing technology will not have the same opportunities. So, if you look at even how some people are using technology to apply to jobs, some people are sending their resumes with a video, and that's creativity, and it's embracing technology in a way that it allows you to connect with people through technology. So I always thought that you couldn't connect, and that it was really hard just to rely on technology to be successful, especially me, that I'm in sales. And I think this COVID has shown us that even we can be far away from each other and still be physically distant, but connected very nicely with technology. So yeah, I think the industry is changing dramatically, and I don't think we have seen. It's just starting, yeah.
I want to mention also that that's a very good question, and we are going to dedicate another webinar upcoming to technology. So keep a look on your emails, as we are going to discuss topics in safety, technology, law, and other important topics that affect construction.
One last thing I'll mention, and if you let's say you're trying to get an internship, you don't get an internship and things are difficult, go and find programs or things that you can go and learn during the summer that will help you become better connected with the new technologies that are happening in construction, and learn something new and say, look, I couldn't get an internship, but here are the 3 courses that I took, or 3 things that I did during this time that made my time. And if you could do it in the areas of technology and innovation, learn about it, prefabrication, modular construction. There's so many different areas that you can look into that will enhance your resume. And some of those courses are not always available in school, and you can take the chance to do it. Anyway, I'm done because I keep on it. Yeah.
We have a very interesting question, and it is during a career fair or during a career expo, what are some things that students should definitely not do while trying to get an internship or while trying to get a full-time job?
I would say one thing that I would stay away from is approaching a company and asking the company what they do. I think going to a career fair and being prepared and knowledgeable and doing your research on the front end of those companies that you're interested in and maybe even that you're not interested in, but looking at that list beforehand and visiting those company websites and really understanding what the companies do and what you're interested in, and just doing your research and trying to be as knowledgeable as you can possibly be.
One of our following questions is related to having a different background. So this particular question is, does having a background in architecture provide a student to be more marketable or to seem more attractive to be hired in construction management or to be hired for an internship?
I can mention at least my perspective. I think that if you look at the industry right now, what you're seeing is that most owners are looking for delivery methods that involve more collaboration between the different sectors, whether it's, you know, to the point that clients today are asking for us to bring design assist subcontractors to the projects early. And in the past, we used to do all the construction, all the design, and then they will go out and bring the subcontractors. Everybody's coming together earlier. If construction has an opportunity, I would say, or a limitation, is the fact that we don't always understand the design intent, and we don't always understand the language of the architects. So being an architect in construction these days, I think is a very good qualification to have, because you can help be the interpreter or the person that connects your construction team with the architectural team. And if you're creating the combination of construction management and architecture is even more powerful. So I would say that definitely it is.
Are there any opportunities for students who already work full-time? Are there any opportunities for those students already working full-time to also complete an internship with any of your organizations?
As far as in MOS, it's very difficult. That question has come up before. It is very difficult because our students do work 40 hours a week and sometimes even more, especially if there's project deadlines to meet at that time. So that is usually one of the requirements, that we require them to work 40 hours a week. There are other times when the project is at a different phase, and we've had opportunities that you can come to work 3 times a week and just work like 4 to 6 hours, just depending on your schedule. But those opportunities are rare. And most of the time when there is an intern on a project, it's because it's crunch time and we need them there almost to 40 hours.
Okay, and one of our following questions is, how important is it to be familiar with programs such as Revit and AutoCAD?
So I think those programs are very helpful, and just soaking up whatever knowledge you guys are learning about those, if you are learning about them in class. But I don't think it's a make or break situation. I think we hire people from all different backgrounds that don't necessarily have the Revit or the AutoCAD knowledge. So, and it's something that you can easily pick up with coming on board.
Completely agree.
One of our following questions is, Are internships more important over other types of professional experience?
I would say that internships are an opportunity first to help students, and it's a chance to get to meet some potential students that are going to grow and get into the marketplace later. I think the experience is something that enhances, depending on what the kind of experience it is, it allows you to have probably a better opportunity. But I think that at the end of the day, the intention is to have someone that can come in, work, and we'll see how that person how quickly it learns and all the qualities that we look in people that we want to have in our company. But I don't think that it will create any. It will create differentiation in getting hired or landing the internship, but I don't think it's more or less important than anything. We know that most interns are just trying to get that experience, yeah. So.
And one of the other questions is around what type of range as far as compensation can someone who is just starting off in the construction industry, around what type of range in compensation can be expected?
I can say that we have polled our graduates, and we have seen a wide range, and you know the company can attest to that. I have seen students who go into positions as low as the low 40s and as high as the high 70s. That's what I have seen for recently graduated students. The difference in that the wide range is due to the opportunity that is presented at the time when the student graduates. Sometimes there is a lot of projects going on. We just a few months ago we were into a boom in construction where everybody was extremely busy. We had more work than people to do it. So the opportunities for a very high salary were more than now when this COVID-19 put us to a halt, and some of the projects has been canceled or delayed, and now I think it's going to be more difficult to get a job that pays those high salaries. I don't know if anyone has different opinion?
No, I think the market dictates a lot of that. And I'll be honest with you, most of the companies, we all are trying to recruit from the same pool of talent. So we all offer competitive salaries between ourselves. And we want to make sure we try to keep the best. And we're going to do it by offering competitive salaries. And I would say that a lot of it also has to do, and maybe not starting, but depending on what market sector you are, your potential to earn higher salaries will be different. It's not the same thing if you're going to go work in aviation than if you're going to work on building residential houses, or if you're going to work on healthcare. All of these markets are different because they have and require a level of specialty knowledge that is not typical in different market sectors. So it goes back to the comment I made at the beginning, is what do you want to do with your career? And the money, I'll tell you, I've worked here for almost 17 years, 18 years already. And if you do your work, you put the energy, and you work every day as hard as you can, and collaborate and appreciate the people that work around you, trust me that the money will come. You don't even have to ask for it. Companies will always keep the people that are good, even in the hard times. Companies will bend over backwards to, and trust us, we offer have gone through that, at least we have, we will do whatever to keep the people that are good, even in the hard times. So yeah, salaries are going to be competitive if you go to the companies, and you know, once you get it, don't worry that the money will come, and just do your thing every day and be loyal to your firm, appreciate the people that work around you, and don't chase the 50 cents here and there, because at the end of the day, in the long term of your career, is not good. There are incredible amount of companies in South Florida that are awesome and outstanding at what they do. And most of them are my competitors, Moss, Robbins. You know, you can go anywhere you want to, and you're going to do extremely well. It's companies that help the communities. We all care for our people. And we actually don't see most of our people even coming from one company to the other. When our people go work somewhere, we take care of them, you take care of them, you'll be there for a long time. Anyway, I'm preaching a little bit, but I just want to make sure that I know money is always important. This is why we go to school. But in the great scheme of things in your career, at the end of the day, it falls in place.
I totally agree, Jose. I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
So one of the other questions is asking about opportunities that interns have for being hired after graduation or being hired full-time. Can you share a little bit about different opportunities that the interns would have after completing any internships for being hired full-time?
Well, typically, you know, we tell you to put your best foot forward during your internship, and that pretty much gives you the opportunity of full-time. If you shined and you had that great attitude and learned really quickly, there usually is a full-time opportunity that pops up because of that. And that's kind of the importance of the internship. Before COVID, we had several opportunities. We had lots of hiring needs. And unfortunately, at this point, everything is kind of on a pause. But if everything goes well, I always see that there is hiring opportunities in the construction industry.
We had one of the FIU students, Eli, I think Jose, he took classes with you. And he came here to working with us, and he started the internship. His internship was so good that it lasted a whole year. He never left. He stayed here, he finished, and then he said, you know what, I want to move to Texas with you. I'm like, what do you mean? You're leaving us now. So he ended up moving with our company to Texas. So, you know, again, just like Vanessa is saying, you do a good job, you capture the hearts of the people that are working with you. Nobody's gonna let you go. And you know, sometimes you might do a good job and there's no projects that we're expecting to have. They don't materialize, we end up not having them, but trust us, when the work comes back, we'll find you wherever you are.
We're the same way. We hire a huge percentage. Most of those that intern with us end up coming to work for us full time.
Okay, and we have just a few more minutes, and I believe this may be our last question. For any students that have been either furloughed or laid off due to the current times, are there any tips or any guidance you can offer them as to what they should be doing or what they can be doing? And also, if there is any way that they can connect with your companies to find if there are any available opportunities?
My advice first would be just to network as much as you can within the industry. Talk to people that you know, talk to people that they know. Just try to talk to as many people, as many companies as you can. It is a strange time for hiring and bringing new hires on board. As far as Robinson Morton goes, we are not hiring any entry-level roles right now due to COVID. But we do hope that will change and expect that to change and pick back up soon. And I am happy to talk to anyone that I can help and talk through it and point you in the right direction of people that you could network with in the industry and keep in touch and talk after this all passes.
So I would that just Liz just mentioned it, network, and in addition to the network, what I'll do is educate yourself about what's happening in the industry, what are the trends, how clients are thinking, and get yourself, you know, do the networking and do the reading so that you can become familiar to what the changes that are coming in the future are, so that when you get a chance to go talk to someone, you can have really well-informed conversations, and you can figure out ways where you can say, look, in looking at the trends, here are some things and ideas that I have that I think might be beneficial for your firm, and this is what I did so that I can add value to your company. So in everything you do in life and what your business do and what you do yourself is about creating differentiation. You have to find ways to say, here is how I'm different, and in the way in which you communicate how you're different, make sure you are also adding to that, how are you adding value to that company through the differentiation you have. It's not, I'm different, okay, I know you're different, but what value do you bring to us? Because at the end of the day, remember, we have a business to run, we have a long-term vision, so there has to be some value. So there's an exchange. We're gonna give you a job, but what are you bringing on your side? And I think that if you do those things, I think you'll do good.
I want to close by saying that to our students, and that we do have the student association in the school. So we have the ABC, the AGC, we have different student chapters that are centralized in networking. So those those chapters will bring you closer to the decision makers in construction that can help you to land a job later on. So with that, I want to thank everybody.
One last thing, work on your resumes. If you have time, spend time on your resumes. If you all need help on how your resume looks and you want ideas or comments or suggestions, just send us the resume. Say, hey, can you take a look at it? By doing that, we're going to commit to see it. And when I see it, I already saw your name. I looked at your resume. I help you. Maybe that creates a connection. So just be creative.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Carla, and the rest of the FIU team that is behind the scenes on this webinar. Thank you to all the participants, and stay tuned for future webinars that we're going to have on different topics. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Sure, bye-bye.
Bye.